Lam was a young architect, living in the fast-paced rhythm of Shanghai. The high-rise office where he worked was always filled with bright, white light. The constant sound of typing and endless deadlines. Each day passed like an endless chain of tasks. Drawings, meetings, reports. The pressure from his boss, the expectations of his family, and the constant comparisons with colleagues slowly made him forget the simple joys, the moments of breathing lightly and feeling the life around him. One gentle rainy afternoon, after a long busy day, Lam suddenly realized that even though he had good health, a stable career, and a loving family, inside he still felt empty. He was always anxious and afraid. Afraid of the disappointed look of his director, afraid of not meeting his family's expectations, afraid of friends gossiping just because of his passion for baking, a hobby he loved but had never dared to pursue openly. In his confusion and longing for a way out, he heard about a meditation temple on the outskirts of the city, where a well-known monk helped people find peace and happiness again. Without hesitation, Lam decided to visit, hoping to find an answer to the worries that haunted him. The temple was hidden beneath ancient trees, far from the noise of the city. As Lam stepped through the dark wooden gate, silence immediately wrapped around him, soft light falling from the leaves into the courtyard, the faint fragrance of incense, the sound of birds singing in the distance. Everything felt strangely different from the chaos outside. The monk was sitting in the meditation hall, his eyes warm and his smile gentle. When he saw Lam, he nodded in greeting. Lam bowed in return and stepped closer, his heart full of respect but also heavy with questions. Could this monk really help him ease the worries that surrounded him? "Master, I would like to speak with you," Lam began, his voice a little shaky but sincere. "Right now, I almost have everything. Good health, a stable career, and a happy family. But inside, I'm not truly happy. I often feel anxious and afraid. I worry because my family expects too much of me. I fear the disappointed eyes of my boss. I love learning to bake, but I'm afraid my friends will mock me, saying a man in the kitchen is strange. I don't know how to live peacefully and happily." The monk looked at Lam, his eyes gentle yet deep, as if seeing into all of his thoughts. He smiled and said, "I understand what you are going through. But before I give you the key to happiness, I want to ask if you can help me with something." Lam was surprised, but quickly replied, "Yes, master, I would be glad to." The monk stood up and pointed toward the staircase leading down to the temple's storeroom. "Go down to the storeroom and bring me a red candle. Light it and carry it here to the main hall. But remember, do not let the wind blow it out, and try not to let wax fall and dirty the temple floor." Lam nodded, his heart both nervous and curious. He felt this might be an important lesson, though he didn't yet understand what the monk wanted to teach through such a simple task. He walked carefully, his eyes fixed on the flame. Filled with determination but also anxiety, Lam held the red candle in his hand. The flickering flame danced, reflecting against the plain wooden walls of the corridor. He took each step with caution, his hands slightly trembling, afraid that the wind would snuff out the flame, or that hot wax might spill onto the temple's brick floor. His heart raced with every step, sweat forming on his forehead. As he crossed the courtyard, a light breeze suddenly blew. He held his breath, eyes locked on the flame, startled even by strands of hair lifted by the wind. The cat curled beneath the Bodhi tree jumped up, but he didn't notice. The old woman sweeping the yard smiled at him, but he didn't see her. Even the delicious smell of food cooking in the kitchen passed by his nose, but he didn't realize it at all. He knew only one thing: keep the flame burning and don't let wax fall. Finally, he stepped into the main hall and handed the candle to the monk. The monk stood there with his kind smile, his eyes shining as if they could see straight into his soul. "Thank you for bringing me a burning candle without letting it go out on the way or letting wax spill," the monk said. His voice was deep and warm, carrying both gentleness and firmness. The monk looked at Lamb curiously. "Today, I was looking for the black cat. It often lies under the Bodhi tree. When you walked past, did you notice it?" Lamb lowered his head, his face slightly red. "Master, I didn't notice. At that moment, I was only focused on shielding the flame, afraid it would go out. So I didn't see anything around me." The monk nodded, though his eyes stayed gentle with a sharp hint. "Then what about the kitchen? Have the people finished preparing lunch today? Did you notice?" Lamb bowed even lower, his voice trembling. "Master, I was too focused on the candle, afraid it might go out or the wax might fall. So I didn't notice anything around me. I'm really sorry." The monk smiled, his voice deep and warm. "Perhaps when you want to achieve your goal, you need to let go of unnecessary fears and ignore some of the outside distractions that could affect your plan. And isn't it true that once you are determined to focus on your true priorities, then the comments and judgments of others cannot affect you unless you allow them to?" Lamb stood in silence. For the first time in his life, he realized that all this time he had let himself be carried away by small details, invisible worries, and had missed the things that really mattered. His eyes began to open. He looked around and saw the old woman sweeping the yard with a gentle smile, the cat curled up under the Bodhi tree with its eyes closed, and the soft fragrance from the kitchen spreading throughout the hall. In that moment, Lamb understood. Happiness is not about avoiding failure or achieving everything you want, but about enjoying the journey, letting your soul be present, and embracing everything around you. He learned how to focus on his goals while letting go of useless worries, and not letting other people's judgments control him. The monk stood quietly for a moment, then gently said, "This candle is only a tool to help you realize a simple truth. When the mind is not scattered by unnecessary worries, when you can let go of the things that trouble you, then the light of happiness will naturally appear. It is not something to be obtained, but something to be felt in each moment." That is the lesson you have learned today. Lamb took a deep breath, feeling his heart lighten, as if he had just put down a burden he never even knew he carried. The light from the red candles seemed to shine into his soul, awakening a sense of peace and warmth he had never experienced before. He left the main hall, but every step now felt different. Each step was filled with awareness, noticing the sounds, the light. He saw the old woman sweeping the yard smiling, the cat stretching under the tree, and he felt life flowing all around him. The small details, the moments that once seemed meaningless, now became precious. From that day on, Lamb was no longer afraid of failure or judgment. He still worked hard, still pursued his passion for baking without caring about other people's stares. But more importantly, he learned to open his heart to experience and to let go of useless worries so happiness could be present in every small moment of life. That red candle still burned in his mind, but no longer as a burden. It became a guiding light, reminding him that happiness is a journey, an experience, and the ability to let go in order to welcome the beauty around him.